Carb loading is a very advanced process and is not something your everyday gym goer would need to do very often. The only time you really need to do carb loads is if you have a specific event like a photo shoot or a competition or a festival or anything you really want your body to look its absolute best for. It doesn't have to be an event, it might be to impress someone or a date or something, or who knows, it doesn't really matter, but the only time you ever need to do a carb load is if you have a specific reason you want your body to look at its absolute best. I personally love carb loading because the effect it has on the body, I think it's amazing, and I'm so fascinated by how you can manipulate your diet and your training to make your body look so good. It really is incredible. So what a carb load is when you consume a very large amount of carbs in a very short period after you have deprived yourself from carbs for an extended period of time of your choice. I'm going to use the example of how I would use a carb load for a photo shoot so you have a good understanding of how the process works and what you actually need to go through. So for a carb load to be effective, you need to be very lean. I would say 6 to 9% of body fat at the absolute highest. The leaner you are, the better it works. What a carb load does, it pumps your muscles up to their full capacity, it brings all your veins to the surface, it actually sucks the water from your body that it's holding onto, the muscle, which makes them look even bigger. So at the end of the day, after a successful carb load, you look bigger, you look fuller, you are extremely vascular, and your body holds absolute minimal water in between the muscle and the skin. All that water gets sucked into the muscle. The carb load lasts for about 2 days, so you have time to absolutely get it perfect, get the full benefit from it. If you don't time it right, your muscles will lose the pump, the water gets released from the muscle, and the body goes back to normal, so timing is crucial. To start the process off, you need to lock in a set date that you want to look your absolute best for, whether it's a photo shoot, a competition, a video recording, an event, whatever. You need to know the exact date of that event as it gives you the timeline to work with. I want you to watch my video, How to Lose Fat Through Dieting Correctly, because that is the exact process you go through to get lean for a set date. Once you reach that date, you go through the carb loading process I'm about to explain to you. For example, let's say I have a photo shoot booked in for 16 weeks time. I'll get my base diet sorted, which I teach you how to do in the video Protein, Carbs and Fats. And once I get my body used to maximum amount of food, I start cutting to get lean for the photo shoot. 1 week I cut carbs, the next week I increase an hour's cardio, and so on. The week after that I will cut some carbs again, and the week after that I will increase 1 hour's cardio, and I've already explained that, and we just go on, so on. So in approximately 12 weeks time, I'll be doing around 6 additional hours of cardio on top of my 6-day weights program, and I'll still be eating 7 to 8 meals. All of these meals will still contain protein, but I only keep my carbs in post-workout because you never want to cut your post-workout carbs. For 4 weeks leading up to the photo shoot, so from week 12 onwards, I will be eating 1 carb meal per day, 6 hours, additional cardio on top of my own 6, 1 hour plus, and an hour weight session. The process is very taxing on the body, it's very hard work, but you can drop a serious amount of fat very fast, which is going to make the carb load work a lot better. By week 15 of the cut, I'm basically shredded. I've hardly any fat left, I hardly have any energy left, I'm moody as anything, and trust me, even for me, I find it so hard not to cheat my diet. Depleting yourself of carbohydrates for such an extended period of time is very mentally challenging, but this is what separates the ones who want it from the ones who don't. In the last week of my cut leading up to the photo shoot, my muscles are extremely depleted of glycogen. Because I'm still training so hard in the gym, I'm not replenishing my muscles with carbs. They are not getting the full recovery, and they stay broken down. This is a very painful feeling. Your body aches all the time. It's very hard to finish your workouts at a good training intensity. You will not lose muscle in this period because your protein levels are still very high and you're still having carbs post-workout. But if you were to go carb depleted for any more than 6 weeks, you did cut your post-workout carbs. If you cut your post-workout carbs, yes, you would. So the key is only really carb deplete for no more than 4 weeks. At the end of the 16-week period, keep your protein levels high and never cut your post-workout carbs. For this example, I'm going to say that my photo shoot is on a Sunday, just so we have a set date to work with. I'll continue with my 1 hour's weight and 1 hour's cardio per day all the way through to the Friday. So 2 days before the actual photo shoot. By Friday, my muscles are fully depleted. They have no glycogen in them at all. And this is where the carb loading process comes into play. On Friday, I will not do any weights or any cardio. And in all 7 of my meals, I will have protein and I will have high GI carbs like white rice, white potato in all 7 of the meals. On the Saturday, the day before the shoot, I will also do no weight training or no cardio. I'll have protein in all my meals and I will also consume a large amount of pure sugar substances with every meal. So I'll have something like Cocoa Pops or honey or candy or basically anything that is just pure sugar with no fats. Fats slow the absorption of the sugar and the protein, hence why I don't have the fats. The amount of carbs in terms of grams that you are consuming for the carb load is different for everyone. At a rough guess and giving you a generic answer, I would say 600 to 800 grams of carbs per day for the carb load will do the job perfectly. On the day of the shoot, I will drink no water at all as I want to come in for the shoot very dry. I will cut all my protein and I'll only consume sugar all the way through to about 1 hour before the actual shoot. So as you can see, that is a heap of carbs and a heap of sugar in a very short period, but the effect this has on the body is quite amazing. The simple way to explain what this does to the body is very easy. Because your muscles are so broken down and depleted, when you fill them right up with high GI carbs, they go from broken down and depleted to fully restored and pumped up to their absolute biggest. Your muscles are full to the brim of glycogen, and because you have consumed a lot of sugar, once you have sugar in your bloodstream, it gets into your veins and they rise to the surface and are literally about 3 times bigger than their normal size. Your veins pump up like crazy due to the high amounts of sugar. Once I'm at a photo shoot, all nicely tanned, your hair looks nice and pretty, you're rubbed down sometimes in baby oil, I start then doing high rep weights to really pump my muscles up even more. The pump you get and the image you see in the mirror on a carb load, I promise you, is one of the best feelings you will ever have. You will never see your body look as good as it does at this point. It's an amazing feeling and I will honestly consider it a life experience. 16 weeks of hard work in the gym, 16 weeks of sacrificing delicious foods, hours upon hours doing cardio and weight training, to look the best for that 1 hour photo shoot or competition when I'm competing. It's a very rewarding and satisfying experience. When I think about how I look after a carb load, it is actually really funny because you will never look that good again until you go through the process all over again. So after a photo shoot prep, you would normally have a light rest or lower the training intensity for 4 or 5 weeks to let the body recover. I will then focus on growing a little and working on my weak areas, and then I finally go through that process again. So it's actually like 6 to 12 months before you get to see your body in that kind of condition. Once you do see yourself in that kind of condition, it changes the perception you have of when you feel that you look good. Without being arrogant, I'm just being honest. I have people come up to me at the gym literally, during my workouts telling me how good I look, but to me at the point of time, I personally think, oh really, you think I look great? I thought I looked better, at another time. Comparing myself halfway through a bulk to the way I look after I have just completed a carb up is literally worlds apart. There is just no comparison. Once you go through the process and you do it properly, you will understand what I'm talking about. Once you've seen yourself look at, your absolute best, it just makes you hungry to keep getting better and better, because feeling that good about yourself is such an addictive and amazing feeling. Once you do it once, you just want to improve, and then it consumes you and you become obsessed and it becomes your life. And that's how, me and so many other people get addicted to the gym. If you push and push and push and keep improving, you might be lucky enough to eventually make it become your career like I have. If you really love something and you become obsessed, why wouldn't you want to do it for a living? You only get one chance at life, and I personally want to be doing what I love for as much of it as I possibly can. So yes, carb loading does work. It is an amazing process and I really do find it fascinating. But for you to be able to carb load and go through this process, you must get extremely lean first, and you must be depleted of carbs for an extended period of time. This does work for both men and women too. Women can do it as well, and it doesn't need to be for a photo shoot. Anytime you want your body to look at its best, anytime you want to be vascular or really tight, thin-skinned, go through the carb loading process. If you are watching this video, I'm assuming you are interested in everything I'm talking about, so I strongly urge you to do a proper cut and try carb loading for yourself and see how you go. You need to learn and experience these things for yourself. Everything I know and everything I'm teaching you, I know is correct because I do it all on myself first, and I know that it works. I have seen it happen. So take the knowledge I'm giving you, apply it to yourself, and learn how your own body works because everyone is different. You will find your own little tricks or techniques that work well for you as an individual, and eventually you will become an expert and know exactly what you are doing. Practice makes perfect.